My financial advisor had been reviewing my mutual fund portfolio for 2 years. In 30 minutes with Claude, I found 3 things he had never flagged. Not because he was incompetent, because he was looking at my portfolio the way advisors are trained to look, at the numbers, at the returns, at the risk rating. Claude looked at something different, the overlap between funds. The hidden cost I had been paying without realizing it, and one holding that had not moved in 14 months that nobody had asked me about. In this video, I am going to show you exactly what Claude found, what I did after, and the 3 questions you should ask Claude about your own portfolio today. All of this using the free version, not a single rupee spent. Welcome back to Zero Click Work. This channel uses free AI tools to surface information you already have but have never examined closely. Last week, we uploaded a salary slip to Claude. It found 7 things. 2 of them the CA had never mentioned. This week, I asked the same question about my mutual fund portfolio. I want to be clear about what this is and what it is not. This is not financial advice. Claude cannot give you financial advice, neither can I. What Claude can do is read a set of documents carefully, identify patterns and anomalies, and surface questions you should be asking your financial advisor. That is exactly what it did. Here is my portfolio. Here is what Claude found. Here is what I did after. Here is what my portfolio looked like before Claude reviewed it. 5 mutual funds spread across large cap, mid cap, flexi cap, and an index fund. 1 international fund. I have been investing for 3 years, monthly SIPs across most of them. A financial advisor reviews it twice a year. On paper, it looked diversified. Different fund houses, different categories, different fund managers. What I did not know was how much of it was actually duplicated. Before uploading to Claude, I created a simple summary document: fund name, category, allocation percentage, expense ratio, how long I have held it, 5 rows, 6 columns. That was the entire input, no account numbers, no sensitive financial data, just the structure of the portfolio. Here is what Claude did with it. Finding one. The overlap problem. I had 5 funds. I thought I had 5 different sets of investments. Claude identified that 3 of my 5 funds held significant positions in the same 12 stocks: Reliance, HDFC Bank, Infosys, TCS, ICICI Bank, all appearing in 3 funds simultaneously. My large cap fund, my flexi cap fund, and my index fund were all buying the same companies. The effective overlap across those 3 funds was approximately 62%. What that means in practice: I thought I had diversified risk across 3 funds. I had actually concentrated risk into the same stocks through 3 different entry points. My advisor had mentioned diversification in every review. He had never mentioned overlap. These are 2 different things. Diversification means different funds. Overlap means how much those funds share. You can have 10 funds with 80% overlap. That is not diversification. That is the same investment held 10 times. Claude flagged this. My advisor had not. Finding 2, the hidden cost. Every mutual fund charges an expense ratio. It is deducted automatically. You never see it leave your account. It just reduces your returns. Most investors know this exists. Almost none of them have calculated what it costs them in actual rupees over time. I had not. Claude looked at the expense ratios across my 5 funds, then it did something my advisor had not. It calculated the 10-year cost of my current expense ratio versus if I switched to a lower cost equivalent. The difference was not small. On my current allocation, the higher expense ratio funds would cost me approximately 2,30,000 rupees more over the next 10 years compared to a direct plan equivalent. 2,30,000 rupees for doing nothing different, just paying more in fees. My advisor reviews returns. He had never shown me the 10-year cost of the fees. Claude showed me in 3 minutes. Finding 3, the stale holding. One of my 5 funds had returned less than 1% in the last 14 months. Not a loss, just flat, just sitting there. My advisor had not flagged it. I had not noticed it. It was not losing money, so nobody asked the question. Claude asked the question. It noted that this fund had significantly underperformed its benchmark for 5 consecutive quarters, and asked me one thing: is there a specific reason you are still holding this fund? That question had never been asked. Not by my advisor, not by me. The answer was no. I was holding it because I had forgotten to review it, not a strategy, just inertia. Claude does not manage your portfolio, but it will ask the questions nobody else is asking. Sometimes that is the most valuable thing in the room. I showed my financial advisor the Claude output. His reaction was similar to my CA's when I showed him the salary slip findings. Not defensive, just practical. On the overlap, finding, he confirmed it was accurate. He said overlap analysis is something most investors do not ask for. Now I ask for it every review on the expense ratio finding. He said switching to direct plans was something he had mentioned in a general conversation. I had not acted on it. Seeing the 10-year rupee cost was what made me act. On the stale holding, he agreed it should be reviewed. We restructured that allocation in the same meeting. 3 findings, 1 conversation, 1 hour. Your financial advisor manages your portfolio at scale. Claude reads a specific document and asks specific questions about that document. Those are 2 different things. Both are valuable. One does not replace the other. Here are the 3 prompts written out exactly. Copy these. Prompt 1. I am uploading a summary of my mutual fund portfolio. Please identify any significant overlap between funds based on their categories and typical holdings. Specifically flag any funds that are likely holding the same large cap stocks. Prompt 2. Based on the expense ratios visible in my portfolio summary, calculate the approximate 10-year cost difference between my current regular plans and direct plan equivalents at the same allocation. Prompt 3. Which fund in my portfolio has shown the least movement relative to its category benchmark? What questions should I ask my financial advisor about it? 3 prompts, 30 minutes, free tool. The output will not replace your financial advisor. It will make every conversation you have with them more specific, more informed, and more useful. That is the actual value. One last thing before the outro. Last week, this channel used Claude on a salary slip. This week on a mutual fund portfolio. The question is always the same. What does this document contain that you have never looked at closely? Next week, I am going to test whether Claude can do the same thing with a home loan statement. The prepayment calculation, the actual interest you are paying versus what you think you are paying, and whether the bank's version matches what Claude calculates. Every one of these documents is sitting on your phone right now. Every one of them contains information most people have never examined. This channel exists to change that, one document at a time, with free tools starting today. All 3 prompts from this video are in the description below. Copy them, use them today. One question for you. Have you ever looked at your mutual fund portfolio beyond the returns number? Do you know your overlap percentage? Do you know your 10-year fee cost? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this video helped you find something you had been missing, please hit the like button. It helps more people find this channel. Subscribe if you are not already, because next week I am testing Claude on a home loan statement. The actual interest cost, the prepayment calculation, whether the bank's numbers match what Claude finds. Same approach, free tool, honest results. See you then.